Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today. And as a reminder to all our listeners, besides being on all your favorite podcast platforms, A Drink of Wisdom is also on YouTube with each show segment available. Head on over if you like what you hear. We would appreciate your subscription. What's going on, guys? Nice Saturday morning. Got more NFL playoffs going on. Got some NFL stuff. A little bit of NBA talk, too. What do you think?
More NFL action, and we're going to sprinkle in a little bit of NBA action that took place last night. So lots to get to. Let's roll.
Let's talk some sports, baby. You know what it is. Hey, we see what they don't, say what they want. Let's roll, baby.
All right, in episode 28, we're previewing the NFL Divisional Round, talking NFL coaching hires, and breaking down Bucks and Mavs. Let's go ahead and begin that playoff preview in the AFC. The Divisional Round kicks off on Saturday night for the conference when the Baltimore Ravens head to Buffalo to face Josh Allen and the Bills. The Bills, of course, are off their first playoff win in quite a long time, but this team has their sights set on much more. Meanwhile, the Ravens have won 6 straight, and their quarterback Lamar Jackson got his first playoff win of his short career. So, Drink, Vegas has this game basically as a pick'em, which does kind of sound right. So, who's actually going to come out of this one and head to the AFC title game?
Well, my pick for the winner is the Buffalo Bills. Here's the deal. I think Josh Allen, he done made enough strides forward that can get it done. And I tell you right now, the Buffalo Bills is a prime example of what the Baltimore Ravens should do next year. Go out, spend some money, make a trade, do whatever you got to do, but give Lamar Jackson a legitimate guy to throw to. Because Hollywood Brown ain't it. We seen what Josh Allen was last year when his number one receiver was who? Cole Beasley, John Brown. I don't know who the number one receiver was last year. But once you gave him a legitimate number one receiver in Stephon Diggs, now look how that offense operates. Oh, I'm making up stuff. Let's go back to the Dallas Cowboys. We remember how maligned they was back before Amari Cooper came into the fold when they was out here looking average at best. Good defense, but the offense just couldn't get it done. What did they do? Go out and get Amari Cooper? What do you know? Team looked it better. It might have been for a small period of time, but the team looked it better nonetheless. So why do I say all that? I say all that to say this. It's a pick'em game. I got Buffalo winning by 3. I'm going to throw that out there before I finish. 31-28 is how I see the game. And I think the biggest part of this game is, can those Raven defenders, whether it's Marlon Humphreys, whether it's Marcus Peters, and crew, can they stop Stephon Diggs? Can they stop Dawson Knox? I think the Ravens defense, because like the question you asked last week, right? You said, was it more on the Ravens defense or was it Lamar Jackson that won them that game? And I said it was Lamar Jackson. I think in this game, it will have to be the Ravens defense. They will have to slow down that Buffalo's offense to a halt if they want to win this game. Because as much as I like Lamar Jackson, most electrifying player in the NFL, I'm not denying that. However, it's a blueprint. It is a blueprint. And if you get to that blueprint, you can stagnize Baltimore. So I'm sorry, but if you're depending on Marquise Brown to get you another 100, and you need Dez Bryant to do something, and Willis Snead, and most of these guys that's been dead for majority of the season, that I don't know that I don't think that's enough to beat Buffalo. I just don't think that's enough. You're talking about a team with a shutdown corner at White. They got enough talent in all 3 levels of that defense to slow down Lamar. Lamar gonna get his though. Let's not get too crazy. Lamar going to get his. He was the MVP for a reason. He's going to get his. But all you have to really do is shut down that run game, that J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, make Lamar earn his yards, and make him throw the ball. That's the key to success. I'm sorry, but I know I'm making it sound simple, but I do think it's simple. And I do think Buffalo can do those things at a high level. And I also think Josh Allen can make enough plays to Stephon Diggs and company. Singletary can get you anywhere between 50. If Singletary goes for 100, it's a wrap. It's over with. Buffalo, the dub is out there. But if you can, Singletary get you between 50 to 75, keep moving those chains, very good in situational downs. I think Buffalo can control this game. I'm not mad at Vegas. So, yeah, I'm going Buffalo 31-28. Stephon Diggs go over 100.
Yeah, I think the the pick'em kind of idea is absolutely correct because I don't have really a sense of how this game will go. There's a lot of each team has all types of different strengths that they'll lean on in this game. Buffalo's obviously the more explosive offense. They make a lot of big plays. Stephon Diggs, as he as Drink most certainly correctly said, the acquisition of the offseason most likely really has changed what the Bills do. Now John Brown's your number 2 now, as he should be instead of a 1. Cole Beasley is a 3 now instead of a 2. He's where he should be. They got a lot of weapons out there, and it looks a lot better when you have Diggs as your 1. Defensively, they do a lot of good things. They're probably a little underrated out there. Not a lot of stars. Tre'Davious White is a guy you would most lean on, and he's the biggest name. But these safeties out there, and Poyer and Micah Hyde. I mean, that's a great combination that they have. They got the 6'7", behemoth in the middle, Tremaine Edmonds. He's going to do stuff out there for you. That's going to be fascinating to see if he can maybe do some sort of spying out there to try to keep Lamar Jackson in check. I don't know if he can, but I think that may be something they look at doing. And then Baltimore, that Baltimore has a history of, going on the road and, upsetting the apple cart. John Harbaugh, I believe he's got he's in the lead for most road wins all time in the NFL playoffs. So his teams know how to, take this show on the road and win. And Baltimore, to some extent, I mean, it's a little bit different than it was last season when all eyes were on them and the MVP with Lamar Jackson, all this type of stuff. Baltimore kind of flew under the radar this season, and they were somewhat disappointing. So I don't look at them as the favorite in this game, although I don't necessarily see them as the underdog either. I think this is an even matchup. I am gonna stick with Baltimore in this game. I think the run game with Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins, who is averaging about 6 yards a clip this year. Also, sprinkle in Gus Edwards. And I think the fact that they don't have a particularly explosive passing attack, and I think the bigger problem that Baltimore has in that regard, and probably something they should have addressed this offseason, and I don't know, maybe they'll look at it next year. I don't think Marquise Brown is necessarily the problem. It's what you have after Marquise Brown. I mean, there's a bunch of question marks, after him. I mean Miles Boykin, Willie Snead. I mean, some of these guys, they're not striking fear in the heart of anybody. But I think in the end, it's similar. The objective for Baltimore is similar to what it was last week. A quick start would absolutely benefit them. That way, they don't get in a situation where Lamar Jackson has to throw the ball down the field and just drop back, 40, 50 times. I don't think that's going to get it done. So I think they really need a fast start in this game. And, it's going to come down to can Baltimore's defense kind of, continue to ride that wave of momentum that they had last week. I mean, Tennessee's offense, we were told, and someone just got a job because of it, that they were explosive and balanced. They had all these things averaging 31 a game, and they came in to Baltimore. They came in against Baltimore, and they did absolutely nothing. So I think the X factor in this game, it will be not Lamar Jackson's legs, but it will be Josh Allen's legs. If Baltimore can figure out a way to just make sure he doesn't hurt them too bad in that regard, I think Baltimore finds a way to get this done. I think it'll be relatively low scoring. I think that'll benefit Baltimore. I got Baltimore in this 23-20.
It sounds like one of those games. As you look at it, you think, okay, well, which team's hotter coming in? Well, they're both pretty hot. Which team is the better quarterback? Well, they both got good quarterbacks. Well, which team's got the better defense? Again, I mean, maybe the Ravens, but it's pretty close. So it's hard to find a lot of the ways it stands out. The things I'd look at
maybe the coaching dynamic. Maybe
you
might
about
get John Harbaugh.
Definitely a longer in term, but guy in Buffalo, he's been putting in the work too.
Right.
So I think if you look at you have to break it down a little bit further. One of the things I'm worried about is if the Ravens are to get a little bit behind. Have you guys noticed Lamar Jackson does have this kind of tendency to start when he starts having to force things, it looks really bad sometimes. He had that really bad pick against Tennessee. He wasn't really forcing too much yet, but he just every now and then he throws on those picks. You're like, oh God, oh man, that was just bad. I think this is one of those games where if we get that classic Josh Allen blunder or Lamar Jackson starts doing, I think that's what's going to break down. One team's going to get ahead, and then the other team's going to they're going to come back or they're going to start making a bunch of mistakes, and then it's going to pile up, and then that's pretty much going to be it. That's kind of how I see this game going. But it's hard to imagine, man. Like, Baltimore is hot right now, man. They that defense is smoking, and I don't think the Bills are going to have a lot of balance. So no one of those games, or it's going to be on Josh Allen, and this guy's either going to continue to rise to the occasion, or maybe he won't. But I think it does. I think this is one of those games that it comes down to mistakes, and whoever makes them is going to go home, and whoever don't make them is going to go on. I know it's cliche, but sometimes that's just the way it goes, But all right, so after that AFC matchup, we go to the Sunday 3:05 game. We got the 14-2 Kansas City Chiefs. They're coming off their bye week to face the Cleveland Browns. Yep, that's still a thing. After the Browns' shocking upset, of course, at Pittsburgh last week, the Chiefs essentially only lost one game this year at full strength, and you'd imagine they would roll in this game, but obviously Cleveland proved last week they are not to be underestimated. So Jay, is there another surprise way to get this game, or is it back onto reality for the Browns?
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't, I think, what is it, 10-point spread?
Yep.
I'd be fairly surprised if Kansas City doesn't come in here and just, escort these guys right back to Ohio and get them on out of here. It's not so much, I don't know if Cleveland, was underestimated. It's the fact that Pittsburgh was overestimated, and they just came out there and just, quite simply, handed the game to Cleveland. 28-0 in the first quarter. Forget about it. When you look at Kansas City, I cannot imagine that Kansas City is going to come out here and deliver a similar performance. I mean, can you imagine Mahomes throwing three first quarter interceptions or first half interceptions, or making just blunder after blunder? I mean, can you imagine the situation where Kansas City center snaps the ball higher than I could probably punt the ball, and that's an automatic 7 points. I can't imagine anything like that happening. To me, the only chance Cleveland has is if, remember, Kansas City, they're coming off a bye. They also, I don't think they played all that many guys of significance in their Week 17 matchup. So I think the only chance that Cleveland would have is that if they can get off to a fast start, catch Kansas City somewhat rusty. But again, there's no guarantee even that'll work. I mean, Kansas City is perfectly capable of getting behind by 3 scores. And then in the blink of an eye, they'll come back on you. This game, to me, for Cleveland, it's all about Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, who has been, I think there's been some words that have been, said about, I don't know, a revenge game or something or another. But he's back facing his former team. But those guys will determine whether Cleveland makes this a game or if this isn't a game. For Kansas City, I think it would definitely benefit them to, look at shutting down that run game. Make Baker Mayfield beat you. The one thing I'd be concerned about is you get that running game going, and then Mayfield's out here on these bootlegs, and that's where Cleveland can hit some big plays against you. But if Cleveland can't run the ball, I don't see a situation where Baker Mayfield is going to convert 3rd and long after 3rd and long and just go step for step with Patrick Mahomes. That I cannot imagine a scenario where that happens. This one should be pretty easy. I think Cleveland wins this. I'll say 38-27.
Kansas City wins it.
Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm with Jay here. Let's go ahead and cut the fat. Let's address the elephant in the room. Kansas City's gonna win this game. Listen, I know what Cleveland did last week, and I understand people are like, oh yeah, we didn't think they was gonna beat Pittsburgh. You're damn right. And there was a reason we didn't think that. And then Pittsburgh came out here and laid a complete egg. Kansas City land an egg in the postseason? I just don't. Listen, we have enough evidence from Kansas City in the postseason, just like Jay said. Even when they're down 3 scores, Patrick Mahomes like, oh, shoot, we are playing the game. Hold on. Hey, you ready, Kelsey? Hey, you ready, Hill? Let's go ahead and get these boys. Let's get them out of here. And that's with a subpar defense. That's with a defense that's average at best. Their defense is actually playing pretty good ball with Tyrann Mathieu being the leader back there and getting these guys ready. Chris Jones over. They're playing some ball on the defense side. So I just don't – they're not Pittsburgh where they don't do this. Like at some point in the season, it was like that. And then they hit the switch and they playing good ball. It's a reason why they only lost, few games. So I just don't see it. I think all Kansas City have to do is be balanced on offense and play the same defense they've been playing. they'll get the Browns out of here. Their path to success is very simple. Be balanced and make Mayfield throw the ball. Okay, cool. Now let's talk about Cleveland. To Jay's point, listen, their path to success has to start with the run game. It has to. I don't want to hear, hey, we gotta throw the ball. But no. You got to run the ball. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt one of them needs to at least go over 100. At least one of them. If both go over 100, I have to believe you're sitting in a very pretty situation if both of them was to go over 100. But at least one of them, you're not going to win this game just chucking the ball. Once again, go to the evidence. I have seen nothing out of Baker Mayfield that makes me think if he throw the ball 55 times, it's going to equal a win. Damn sure not in the playoffs. So I just don't see it working out in that fashion because, like I said, Kansas City defense is playing a lot better than what people give them credit for. So with that said, Kansas City win. I don't think it's particularly close. I'm looking at it probably, I'm looking at it, let's say 27-10 Kansas City.
Yeah, that's kind of how you think this would go. So I'll give you this. The Chiefs have not been good this year against the spread. They have won, obviously, all but one of their games, and they were trying. They lost to the Raiders like week 8 or 7, and then they rested week 17. So they've obviously won almost all their games. But they have not always covered the spread. In fact, they're one of the worst teams in the league against the spread this year. Because they've kind of gotten to this thing where they don't do this through the season, but they do this during games. It's carried over from last year's playoffs to this year, but they'll just kind of sleep through a quarter or two. I'll tell you, the Cleveland Browns are a dangerous team to do that against because they have an offensive line. They have possibly the best one in the league. They have 2 dynamically good running backs, and Baker Mayfield has learned to make less mistakes, and he's not still all world as far as, just scoring, but he's at least learned this is what I have to do to win games. This is my job to win games. This is a dangerous team to get behind on. Now, to me, this game is set like this. It's going to be tone setting early. If Kansas City comes out and they just walk down the field and score no problem, then this is going to be a quick one. If they can score 14 points quick, forget about it. But you go 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out, and the Browns start running the ball. They start chewing the clock. They start controlling the pace of the game. It's going to be a bit dangerous because the one thing the Chiefs don't do very well is they don't pace the game. They score. They run out there. They score in 4, 5, 6 plays, and they just put defense in the field. The Browns play the complete opposite game, and they can just keep things in front of them on defense. I think they can play this close. I still think the Chiefs are a better team. They're probably going to win, but if I was betting, I would take the Chiefs by a field goal. I don't have the exact score in my mind, but that's what I would be doing. I think the Browns deserve more respect than we've been giving them. Even we know what happened last week. It's just something to think about. I think this one's close, but I agree with y'all. I do think the Chiefs are going to win it.